People of the earth, open your ears. Sons and daughters of Abraham, open your eyes, for the Lord, the God of all creation, is not deaf to the cries of the afflicted. He is not blind to the suffering of the innocent. He is not distant. He is not asleep. God is moving, and God is sending his help to Palestine. He who sits enthroned above the circle of the earth is not blind. He is not aloof. He is not unaware of what unfolds in the land of sorrow. He sees all. He sees the affliction of the people. He sees the bruised and the battered, the displaced and the disheartened. He sees the children who wander through ruins, eyes wide with questions the world will not answer. He sees the fathers who can no longer protect, the mothers who must wrap their little ones in shrouds instead of blankets. He sees the smoke that rises from broken buildings and the tears that fall from shattered hearts. And his heart is not untouched. From the beginning, he has been the God who sees. When Hagar fled into the wilderness, cast out and alone, rejected and despised, she wept beneath the desert sky. And there where no one else saw, where no one else cared, the angel of the Lord appeared and said, "The Lord has heard your affliction." She named him El Roi, the God who sees me, and he sees still. He saw the suffering of a single woman in a forgotten desert. Will he not see the cries of a whole people, wounded and crushed beneath the weight of conflict? Will he not regard the blood spilled, not with indifference, but with holy fire? He saw his people in Egypt. He saw them groaning under the lash, building the empire of their oppressors with bleeding hands. He saw them tossed into the Nile, their sons drowned in the silence of a world that refused to speak. He said, "I have surely seen the affliction of my people, and I have come down to deliver them." That is who he is, the God who sees and the God who comes. He does not look away. He does not scroll past the suffering. He does not ignore the cries because they are inconvenient. He is a God of justice, and justice begins with vision. Justice begins when you refuse to look away. The world may turn its gaze. Kings and rulers may close their eyes. News cycles may shift. Headlines may fade. But the eyes of the Lord do not fade. They burn with eternal flame. He sees every injustice, every desecration of life, every place where man has lifted hand against man in hatred. He sees the exploitation of the vulnerable, the twisting of truth, the mockery of righteousness. He sees the proud who exalt themselves and the humble who are crushed under their boots. And he keeps a record. Not one tear is wasted. Not one drop of innocent blood is ignored. He bottles the tears of the afflicted. He writes their laments in his book. He sees what has been hidden, the secret dealings done in shadows, the decisions made behind closed doors that cost lives far away. He sees them. He sees the intentions of hearts. He sees the lies told as truth, the silence that enables violence. He sees the weapons formed and the profits made from suffering. And he is not mocked. For what a man sows, that shall he also reap. And what a nation sows, what a people sow, whether it be compassion or cruelty, mercy or blood, that too shall return to them. Yet even in the depths of suffering, he sees something more. He sees not just the pain, but the purpose. He sees not just the ruins, but what can rise from them. He sees the prayers whispered in secret, the acts of kindness amid chaos, the courage of those who refuse to hate. He sees the resilience born of desperation, the dignity that clings to the soul when all else is taken. He sees the image of himself in every man, woman, and child who walks the streets of the broken city. And it moves him. It moves him to act, to speak, to send forth his hand. There is no suffering that escapes his gaze. No injustice so deep that it falls beneath his notice. And if he sees, then there is hope. For the God who sees is the God who moves. The same eyes that wept over Jerusalem now watch over every wounded place. And though the watchers of this world sleep, he who keeps his people does not slumber. His eyes roam to and fro across the earth, seeking those who cry out, seeking those who mourn. And when he finds them, he does not remain silent. He rises. He intervenes. Because he sees. The cry of the oppressed is not a sound that vanishes into the wind. It is not a whisper lost in the chaos of war, nor is it a murmur drowned by the apathy of nations. The cry of the afflicted rises, like incense rising to the throne of the Most High. It moves past the barriers of politics, past the walls of indifference, past the silence of men, and ascends to the ears of the one who dwells in unapproachable light. The God of heaven, the maker of all, hears. He hears every cry uttered in anguish, every groan born of suffering, every prayer whispered in the dark. He hears the cry of Palestine. He heard the blood of Abel crying from the ground, though no man stood as witness. He heard the voice of one slain in the field by his brother, and he answered. If he heard one voice, one soul spilled in betrayal, will he not hear the multitudes? Will he not hear the cries from homes reduced to dust, from streets painted with grief, from voices cracked with loss? The cries are not lost in the rubble. They are not ignored because they do not serve the narrative of the powerful. They are not discarded because they come from the forgotten. The heavens receive them. The angels carry them. The heart of God is pierced by them. He hears the mother whose arms are empty. He hears the father who cannot feed his children. He hears the child who calls out in the night, looking for a home that no longer stands. These cries are not statistics to him. They are not background noise. They are not distant echoes. They are sacred. They are wounds upon his heart. For he is not a distant deity removed from pain. He is the God who walked among the broken, who wept over the lost, who bled for the sake of the world. The cry of suffering reaches him because he too has suffered. He heard the groaning of Israel in Egypt when their cries rose from the furnaces of Pharaoh. He heard the lamentation of Rachel weeping for her children when Herod unleashed terror upon the innocent. He heard the desperation of Jonah in the depths of the sea, the mourning of Job on the ash heap, the pleas of David in the cave. Always it is the cry that calls forth the compassion of God. Always it is the voice of desperation that stirs the movement of. Then the throne is stirred. Then the Lord of hosts unsheathes his sword. There is power in the cry. It is not weakness to weep. It is not defeat to call upon the name of the Lord. It is the beginning of deliverance. For he who heard the cries of Nineveh and turned his judgment to mercy is the same yesterday, today, and forever. He who heard Hannah's silent prayer and opened her womb hears the cries of a barren land and will answer with fruit. He who heard the thief on the cross and welcomed him into paradise hears the broken on the earth and will not leave them without hope. There is no language required, no eloquence needed. A cry from the heart is enough. A single word, help, spoken with tears, is a symphony in the ears of God. He who created the voice understands its every note. He interprets what the soul cannot even form into speech. He hears. And what he hears, he does not ignore. There are movements in the earth that men cannot see. There are shifts taking place in the unseen realm long before the visible gives any sign. While men sleep, while powers posture and nations debate, the Spirit of God is already at work. His help is not delayed, nor is it idle. It does not wait for permission from kings, and it is not restrained by borders or by treaties written by the hands of the proud. His help does not come with fanfare, but with fire. It does not arrive with armies of flesh, but with hosts of heaven. He is moving, and he is moving now. The help of the Lord does not resemble the help of man. Man sends what is limited, money, diplomacy, fragile aid wrapped in red tape. But the Lord sends what cannot be measured, power, presence, protection that reaches where human hands cannot. When man sees only defeat, the Lord sees deliverance already taking shape. When man declares it is over, heaven whispers, I have only just begun. The God of Abraham does not sleep through suffering. He does not pace in indecision. He moves with purpose, and when he moves, nothing can stop him. He moved when his people were trapped at the Red Sea, when there was no way out and Pharaoh's armies bore down upon them. He split the sea, not with chariots or swords, but with the breath. His help is not always immediate in the way men expect, but it is never late in the timing of heaven. What is happening in the silence is greater than what is seen in the headlines. The cameras may not capture it, but angels are moving through the streets. The reporters may not speak of it, but chains are breaking. The rulers may not see it, but thrones are being shaken. Help is being sent in dimensions beyond the reach of human eyes. The arm of the Lord is being revealed, and it is strong, but those tremble. He is stirring even among the enemies, confusing their plans, turning their weapons back upon themselves. He is lifting the veil off of deception. He is revealing the truth that has been buried. He is exposing hidden evil and bringing light to hidden faithfulness. There are victories taking shape in secret, testimonies being born in the shadows that will one day speak louder than the bombs. He is sending his help to the land that cries out, not because of its perfection, not because of its strength, but because of his mercy. He moves for the sake of his name. He acts for the sake of his covenant, and when he arises, none can stand in his way. His help is not a maybe, it is not a theory, it is real. It is active, it is alive, and it is already in motion. The God who creates from nothing does not leave ruins without hope. The one who called light out of darkness, who formed man from dust and breathed life into dry bones, is the same God who speaks restoration into devastation. When the world sees only destruction, he sees the blueprint of new beginnings. When men declare the end, he declares the birth of something not yet imagined. In the ashes of sorrow, he plants the seeds of glory. In the silence of mourning, he begins to compose songs of deliverance. And in the land of brokenness, he prepares the soil for beauty to rise. Soil for beauty to rise. There is a hope that does not come from circumstance. It is not born in comfort, nor does it rely on peace treaties or political promises. It is the hope that is forged in the furnace of affliction, the hope that grows in the hardest of places. This is the hope of restoration, not a mere return to what once was, but the unveiling of something greater than what had been lost. The God of restoration does not give back what was taken in the same measure. He restores in abundance and overflowing grace in ways the human heart cannot predict but can only receive. He is the God who brought life from Sarah's barren womb. He is the God who raised Joseph from the pit to the palace free. He is the God who returned Israel from exile, rebuilt the temple from ruins, and brought forth Messiah from a people pressed by empires. He does not abandon what is broken. He chooses it. He enters into the wreckage and makes it holy. He takes what others discard and makes it his dwelling place. He takes the wounded and gives them a name. He takes the forsaken and calls them beloved. He does not restore by turning back time. He restores by redeeming it. What the locusts have eaten, he repays. What the enemy has stolen, he returns with interest. The tears that fell into the dust of the earth become the water for the gardens he is planting. Every cry, every loss, every silent night, he gathers them. In his time, he brings forth the harvest. The pain is not wasted. The suffering is not forgotten. The ruin is not the final word. He restores cities, but more than that, he restores souls. He rebuilds homes, but more than that, he rebuilds hope. He makes the broken places strong. He turns mourning into dancing and despair into purpose. He gives garments of praise in exchange for the spirit of heaviness. Though eyes may not yet see it, though hearts may find it hard to imagine, he is already at work. He is calling forth streams in the desert. He is speaking to the wilderness, commanding it to bloom. The land that has been crushed under conflict will yet be a land of His help is seen in the small miracles, the unnoticed mercies, the moments of protection that no one knew were needed until He sees what the cameras do not show, what the media does not say, what the world prefers not to acknowledge. He records every act of cruelty, every innocent life taken, every prayer uttered in secret, every heart that has longed for peace while surrounded by war. Nothing escapes His